or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on when you are enjoying this. This is the Close Quarters episode 2. Colin from the Quartermasters. I'm here with Dave James Horn and Shane Record. Good evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
Hi. Yeah,
good, thanks. Yeah.
Excellent. Hopefully this will be like the sort of cultural one, because these gentlemen represent sort of art and poetry respectively. So yeah, it should be sort of interesting. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'll let you down.
We may not be as interesting as...
Could be terrible. Just skip this one, eh? Just skip it. But yeah, hello guys. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
What brings you here? How come you set up for this?
I'm a poet. I live in Folkestone. I'm from Ashford originally, but I escaped.
Same.
Oh, yeah. Ashford. We're survivors.
Yes. Sorry, Ashford. Sorry.
I'm joking. I love Ashford, really. It's not quite
didn't get far.
No, I didn't escape. Actually, I went via North Wales. So
I've cycled to Ashford.
Have you?
Yeah.
Just bragging.
It is showing
okay.
off.
Shane's
it's not
super
far.
Fit, guys. Shane's
it's
real
not
fit.
far.
I went via North Wales. I took the long way around.
Okay.
But so yeah, I'm a poet. I run events at Lime Bar, Troubadour, Steep Street. Some of them are open mic, some of them performances. I try and get out as well. I try and go to places like Margate in Canterbury and
Nice.
sort of spread my wings a bit. And just write, really. I love writing because it's just so enjoyable. Performing is just... I'm just daring myself to see if I can do it or not.
Do you write poetry so that because in your mind you want to perform it?
Not.
That's a good question, Shane.
Or is it because you just like it, seeing it written down?
It depends. Most of the time I just like writing it. Occasionally that I have something in mind that I think would be really good. And performing has definitely changed
really good
it.
to perform.
Yeah, like a topic or a style which I think would be really good to perform and have out loud. But when I started performing or reading it out loud, I suddenly realised all the things I've written before were so clunky and hard to say that it immediately changed my writing style.
Yeah.
So performing has definitely altered how I do things. But
And improved it?
yeah, I think so. There's now a flow. That was the problem before. There wasn't a flow. It was this really awkward like verse structure. But now there's a flow to it. So
Flow is key.
it really is. Yeah.
That's communication. It's if you are saying it in front of people, surely.
Yeah, it's got to have a rhythm and a flow.
Yeah.
And it can't be like a bit here and then an awkward silence and a bit there and then this line's too long, so this one's really short. And it can be sometimes being abstract, but I think for me personally to feel comfortable doing it, this flow, this sort of style suits me.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I've just known you from literally seeing you rock up and do the open mic stuff on the old high street, which has been awesome. The fact that happens literally outside my door periodically, anytime there's an open quarter or something, they'll do, it's Poetry Corner, right?
It's Poet's Corner, yeah.
Poet's Corner, yeah, which is sweet. So I turn the music down and I get poetry for a couple of hours on a Saturday, which is a perk of...
It's always really sad because your poetry remains locked inside the building. You can't escape.
Yeah, I know, yeah. No one needs to know about that though. That's all right.
It's a secret.
Do you write poetry as well?
I used to, yeah. I don't really write anything now other than the odd Instagram post, to be honest. Yeah, I've changed my medium.
Insta poetry is a new thing.
I know, yeah, I did, yeah, I dallied.
There's a big debate on its worth, its credibility, you know.
I think it's cool because it's instantaneous, isn't it? It's short and sweet, and if you can write, see, I tend to go kind of like long form. My poems are quite long. A lot of the Insta poets, they're like...
There is an art to capturing an essence. So
I know,
so
I can't
concisely.
do that. Yeah, so.
I like a really good a translation of a haiku.
Yes.
And it's just frog, pond, plop. I love that, man.
Says it all, doesn't it?
That's brilliant.
I think that's a good poem.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Shane, who are you? What are you up to? What are you doing here?
I'm not a poet.
You can appreciate poetry though, so
but I do love poetry,
Yeah.
and I would love to come and listen to you at one of your next events. No, I'm a professional artist. I am a painter, as such, with brushes and palette knives and oil paints and acrylics and all of that various stuff, and I've been doing that for professionally 14 years. So 14 years in February.
So you thinking of making a go of it, like?
Yeah.
So you go pro.
I was always told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You should maybe try and do it professional one day. I said no. There's not any money in it,
Yeah.
And I've got 4 kids now, and and
you
we
have to do it
depend
now.
on it.
Yeah. Shit.
There's no other source of income. I mean, well, my wife now is working back to working like full time, almost full time. But yeah, it's not a lifestyle choice. It is a lifestyle choice, but it certainly isn't in terms
Does
of
that
the way that we
change
pay our
the
bills.
way you create? You know, because if there's no pressures, you can do what you want, how you want. When you're like, you've got, let's say it's not a lifestyle choice anymore. Does that change a little bit how you do things?
I think, it does, but only that it makes you more disciplined. But in terms of what got me to where I did wasn't working out what people or the market or anything wanted. It was doing what I wanted, and being into it for myself, and actually that was always enough and has always been enough to carry it through. Yes, there's compromises that you do along the time. Someone wants you to, and it sounds really crap.
Bread and butter stuff, right?
Yeah, well,
stuff that you're not.
No. Nearly all of the stuff I do, I'm really proud about.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I would say over 90%. So
Wow.
I'd say I compromise very little as an
Fantastic.
And it's all like
I think
your heart and soul.
people that don't know you and they want to analyse you and put you in a box that makes them more comfortable about what you've managed to achieve, even though it's not very much. But I have done compromises that I wouldn't have done, but only because I've got a flipping heart. So I do paintings of the sea and the town, and I've followed the changes in the town, and I've been really into it, and I did it since the year dot, since when everyone slagged off Folkestone, and I did paintings of the derelict street, and loads and loads of them, but it got people sort of on board.
You like documented Folkestone's change and its transformation.
I have managed to get away with painting my sort of life in Folkestone, and then as I sort of grew, I suppose, and I changed, and I did interior pictures of the inside of my car and my bathroom, but my life in Folkestone, yes, and I've got away with actually that being totally true, no matter what. I mean, I don't need to defend myself as anything, but I sometimes feel I do. But on the occasional times, as a professional, you do have to compromise sometimes, sure. Because I'll give you an example. I very, very, very rarely do either paintings of people's dogs or their houses, because I don't like doing either. Okay. I'd like to do my dog because he's really cool and I love him, and it's gonna be the last painting I do this year. Him in my studio and that sort of thing. But what do you do, right? If someone comes to you and says, I'd like you to do my a painting of the dog or something or other, and you say no, and then you turn round and they're in floods of tears.
Has that
with
happened?
Their husband?
No,
yes.
No.
Yes, it's happened. So she built herself up to it. Said, "We thought you were the only person that could bring him back to life."
No.
And you're there
God,
saying, "I'm sorry, it's just something I don't do." Okay, it's 1 week in a 52-week year.
Sure.
It's the only time I did it. And you think, well, have you got a heart?
Yeah,
any humanity?
That's not compromise as much as having a heart for someone else's feelings.
Yeah, and you just go, okay, you don't put it on your website, you don't put it on your social media, but sometimes you give in just because you're nice. A bit of compromise can mean you're actually just a bit of a nice person rather than well, I don't know what the barriers are.
I think we can say anything.
Basically, you know what I mean? And I get a bit fed up with people talking about compromise when actually they don't know they're talking about.
Sure.
Because if you're professional in what you do, all of it is actually about what you're trying to do and where you're trying to get yourself. And you will, of course, encounter times where you have to give in to bits and pieces. You have to. And God, so many kicks in the nuts. You know, that's just the nature of it.
Absolutely.
But, you know, that's part of being a professional, I think.
Yeah. You take those kicks in the nuts and just...
Yeah. And
you stay as true to yourself as...
I would like to think...
90% is still very, very high odds.
I've sat in a pub with a guy opposite me saying, "You've sold out," and I rejected that so much.
What the hell does that even mean?
Well, exactly. What does it mean?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, how can you make that statement about me?
I think only people that couldn't have the opportunity to do that are probably the ones that say that. You know.
I think
Possibly.
so. You do often get judged by people.
Yeah. I used to say about like punk bands or whatever. They get suddenly they get a top 10 hit, you know, and they probably pay the mortgage with it or something like that. And everyone's like, don't listen to them anymore. They're sold out.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Good for them, you know,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. What does it actually mean?
Yeah. You've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
And you're supporting them by painting.
Yeah.
By living your dream, doing what you love.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fucking awesome. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too...
well, thanks.
Yeah, don't listen to that guy. So, if we can just, like, rewind it a bit. You've been on here... I mean, yeah, the shop is 5 years old. You were already on the street when I rocked up.
Yeah.
You've been here quite a while.
Nearly 10 years when you arrived.
So, you've been here 15 now. Is that right?
Yeah, 14, yeah.
Bloody hell. How's it been?
But I was showing work opposite 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that shop opposite used to be an outdoor shop called Millet's.
Oh, okay.
And
Which
then
is Steep Street now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is Steep Street now. And basically, when I arrived in Folkestone, the foundation took on loads of the shops. Mm-hmm. A creative foundation took loads on the shops, but they didn't know really what to do with them at that point. Mm-hmm. And so they offered any artist the opportunity of showing their work in the windows. So I left it 2 weeks. I thought, I'm a bit too full on. I'll leave it for up to anybody else. Yeah. And then I applied, and no one else had asked. So I got keys to like that shop.
Wow.
And 2 other shops down the street. But that shop's got 3 windows. Yeah. And that's how I started getting my work seen. Amazing. I literally hung my work from fishing wire in the windows, and I cleaned up the front of the shops because they're derelict, and hung curtains behind it. Yeah. And just on wire. Wire's a bit of a theme.
And, it works, right?
Yeah, it does. It's really useful.
Because we're going to record this the other week, but you were
I was
using wire to make your Christmas display work.
Yeah,
I was. So yes,
elaborate wire system for the Christmas window
wire
display.
is still very fundamental.
Yeah.
And that's how I got known. That's how I got known.
Acrylics and wires.
Acrylics, wires, and then I'd hang about 9 paintings in the opposite. Yeah. And about another 4 or 6 down the street in other windows. Right. So I basically had this place as a
like
free exhibition.
Mate, amazing.
Yeah, but it was boarded up down here.
Yeah. Be a bit sad about that now. You've got very limited exhibition space now. Well, you've got to pay for it if you want.
No, I'm all right. I'm in most people's...
Yeah. You're on the radar. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. So right, can you, when we have a poetry corner, can you hear from up? Because geographically, you're like 5-6 doors up from here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Can you hear the poetry?
No.
You should just close. Just close.
I'm going to next time.
And we just hang out and listen to the poetry. It's really good.
Totally. Yeah. When is it?
It's normally around things like Open Quarter or Latronia or big occasions.
Okay. Well, if I've lost, I'm really sorry if I have, but I have got 4 kids, and
I let you off those.
I do have to. I'm very lucky to be out tonight, to be honest.
He's gonna go home and cook dinner after this, by the way, guys. So.
My wife's not sure what on earth she's going to eat tonight.
Yeah.
Are you yet?
Well, no, not until I get home and open the freezer.
A nice surprise. So, Dave, you're a cognitive, which is literally a stone's throw away, right?
If down a hill, yeah.
If I open this window and threw a stone, I could possibly.
You could hit our front door, maybe, yeah.
Maybe. What do you do down there?
I do marketing. I write blog posts and sort of copy for the website and that sort of thing.
Oh, awesome! Could you? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that because I need help with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So as well as poetry, you're all on that kind of marketing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy I can write for a living, really.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the dream as well, right? Fantastic.
So doing whatever your creative passion is, like writing for me, in any form, it's just fun, you know.
Yeah.
And when it flows and word again, flow. When it's all coming together and it's just really satisfying. So I'm really happy that I can sort of do that on a day-to-day basis.
Totally. I can relate. You know, I don't know if a non-creative person can relate to that, but there's almost like.
Well, I would imagine.
There's a moment, isn't there, when you finish it's like that last piece of a jigsaw puzzle. You know that paragraph is perfect, or that picture. It's like, oh, it's done. You know, and that's just like solving a puzzle, and it's nice. I like that.
There's a moment of peace where you look at it and go, that's all right.
It's done. Yeah,
I've done that.
That's all right.
Well, I think,
but maybe they'll hate it. But I'll just put it out there anyway. Yeah.
Well, I think flow is a really interesting word because I've got a sister who is a really good artist, but she's not got that much confidence. But I've been selling her paintings in the gallery, and she used to be a lot freer, and then she's my age, she's in her 40s, and now her work. All I'm trying to do is get her ability out of her, and I say to her, flow. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
I don't really know because it's just that. It looks stilted. Some of the things that she does when they shouldn't. And when I say do it with flow, she kind of alters it, and it kind of then starts to become expressive. I don't know if that is.
I think you can perceive the stop-start nature of something, whether it's a painting or a poem or
it flows when it comes from the heart. I think sometimes, you know, if you overthink the thing, and I think when creativity is honest, it doesn't come from anything you've learned.
No.
It's not a mental exercise. When it's
should
just flowing out of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would agree with that.
And I said flow just as an expressive.
Yeah.
Get the angles out of the way and make it more flow, as in visually. But I think it probably you'll explain it on a better level, different level.
Sure.
I mean, there is that feeling like it must be the same with art when you're just in the zone. But like as a poet, there are moments when it's like a poem is it's happening to you. You're just a conduit.
Yeah, you're a conduit.
And it's come out your hand. You don't even know what you're writing. It's just falling in front of you. And at the end of it, you're like, that's all right. Where did it come from?
Have you got any examples of your work you would like to share with the people?
I have.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Let's have a poem.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh, you've had mine.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, we've had yours.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but one thing I find a little bit sad is maybe it's headspace or whatever, but I find those sorts of moments rarer and rarer.
Yeah.
But sort of experiences sort of replaces that, and I sort of know what I'm doing a bit more.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's a problem. Maybe who knows? It's a weird one, but
I don't know. I guess you get more confident doing, performing, you know, reading, writing, painting.
I didn't understand
doing,
that.
It
you
becomes
have to
more.
Re-explain that.
Like when I first started writing poetry, these moments where it would happen to me, I'm like, were quite frequent.
Yeah.
And now they're rarer, but now I can sit down and write a poem. I can have an idea in mind.
Yeah.
Or an image that has struck me, or something, and be like, how am I going to do this? And then it happens, and it's still good, but it's not the same as that sort of like.
It's like an infant. It creates more freely than an adult, I guess, because you've learned structure and all these kind of like, you know, these prefab ideas of how a thing should be, rather than just go, it's the thing that I was.
I mean, we mentioned this a bit earlier, but I'm also completely self-taught. Yeah,
so
all the structures I've learned really. Some of it has been through reading other poets, but a lot of it has just been through trial and error and experience.
And what feels good.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Same. Just kind of go with what sells.
Right, come on then. let's have a
come on.
Let's have a poem.
Go
All
on.
right.
Dave James Horn, ladies and gentlemen.
This is called I Pray, and written about time spent at a European EU Erasmus Plus project, which is really, really good in Georgia.
Wow.
And it's about sort of the grief of separation. So for 10 days or whatever, you're with this group of people. This time it was 50 people, and you become like a little unit.
Yeah.
And then you're removed back into your normal life. You're like, there's a hole there.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but yeah. Unwillingly, I am a prey. After that beautiful moment, fleetingly perfect, in which I wish I could have stayed. I pray. I wander through unplanned days, sadder, finding roots through a maze. After, not the same as before. But in the whole left, I am richer, not bereft. For it is full of treasure, such is its value, I dare not measure. I find smiles, I find memories, I find amazing connections with sweet contemporaries. I find friends. This whole is more of a shrine to the goodness of people and the joy of sharing a wonderful time. I pray. I'm fuller than before. More space to learn, love, discover, explore. More feathers on which to soar. In my shrine I see the smiling faces of new friends who dangle new futures like tantalising sherbet laces. I pray. Richer and fuller, taller not smaller, crafting an unmade future, made better by smiling eyes and combined lives. Ready for the tides that weave us again someday into each other's lives. After, I pray.
Nice.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Dude,
Too kind.
lovely. How's Georgia? What's it like?
Georgia is amazing. It's
Yeah. Where is, geographically?
so it's
I've got no-
underneath Russia.
Okay.
Turkey's on Armenia's on one side.
Wow. Right.
It's on the Black Sea coast. Turkey is one of its neighbours as well, I believe. Azerbaijan at the top. It's in the Caucasus region because the Caucasus Mountains run through that entire area,
Right.
and it's an amazing place. It's got a. I think this sums it up. It's kind of like it works because everyone there is nice and really good and decent.
Yeah.
But like there's on our it's 3 hours ahead of us
Okay.
in time wise. So we were travelling from the airport, a 5-hour drive.
Right.
What there was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we got to this railway line, and the barriers are down, and there was a car on the other side that had crashed or whatever. And this is the sort of place because people are nice and there's a bit of common sense. They just sort of get on with things.
Yeah.
So we were waiting for ages for someone to come and like sort it out. And then someone got bored of waiting and just sort of moved a barrier and started driving through.
Yeah.
So everyone did then. And
Perfect.
it's a very pragmatic place, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Is it like a war-torn place? I don't know anything about it really.
Not- I mean,
We've not been dropping bombs on them or anything, have we?
we haven't. I mean,
Oh, thank God.
there's some stuff there which I don't know fully to really talk about.
Sure.
But it's quite disparate. There's
Yeah.
the towns and villages seem quite abandoned, I think, in some senses. Like you can tell that they're a bit unloved, and a while ago, 20 years maybe, they were glorious, amazing architecture.
So what
And
happened?
now they're
It was
a bit
like
run
an
down.
Economic depression or something like that?
The Soviet Union pulled out
Oh, okay.
and sort of left them
Screwed
to it.
them.
Like I just said, see you later, guys. I get on with
okay.
it, and no one's ready for
Is that going to happen to us when we leave the E EU?
It's a good
Well,
question.
yeah. They were the outreaches of the Soviet kind of group of countries,
Okay.
and when it came to the change in the late 80s and early 90s, someone like Georgia that had been under a communist dictatorship was sort of left to its own devices to
Right.
sort of adjust. And so you had some countries that adjusted easier than others.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But it's getting there. Like so, the cities are where a lot of development happens, and there you could be in London, you could be any major city in the world and not realise.
Wow.
And it's as amazing as these towns, which are all amazing in a different way. I mean, if you're a photographer, some of the street photography, the buildings, the street art, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's starting to things are changing. The people there are really proactive because they kind of have to be. So everyone sort of takes it upon themselves to make it a nicer place, you know, to bring it up.
Fantastic.
I did learn some Georgian. Like, the one thing is in that part of the world, Russian is the common language. So Armenia, Turkey, Ukraine,
It's
Russian is the shared language. So I did learn a bit of Georgian in the end because I had to get around and sort of, you know.
So how do you say cheers in Georgian?
Yeah.
The pressure's on me now.
That's all right. You know in Russian?
I can say I'd like one coffee.
In Polish.
That's
all you need.
Like
you
one
order
coffee.
A coffee done.
Galma juice is cheers.
Galma juice.
Galma juice is cheers, but you can't just do cheers.
Juice.
You have to do a toast. Every time it's a Galma juice, you have to, like, to our health or to the future or something. You can't just say cheers without following it up.
Okay.
It's one of the things.
To a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. I was in Romania, come to think of it, like it was quite a while ago, like 15 years ago or something like that. And I think they had recently overthrown communism or whatever. And there was like a general buzz, like all the people were like really optimistic and really like triumphant, and it was just lovely. So that's nice. How did you even get involved in that project?
I know a group leader.
Yeah.
So these youth projects around the world, to be honest. And I'm lucky enough to know one. And the project's coming up to apply, you know, and come along if you like.
So it's the kind of thing anyone could just...
anyone could do it, and I think everyone should, because, I mean, the age range normally as a participant is 18 to 30.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you go all over the world and meet amazing people and learn amazing things. It's out there waiting to happen, you know.
What's the name of that?
Erasmus Plus.
Erasmus Plus.
So if you go to Erasmus Plus, if you Google that, there'll be a website somewhere.
Cool. All right.
And, you know, you can see him do some
remember
amazing
Erasmus
things.
being part of the European, because he was a writer, wasn't he, Erasmus, in the 15th
The philosopher,
century?
wasn't he?
Yeah. And but when I studied French at university, you went on the Erasmus program, and there was funding for it back then.
Oh wow!
Going back 20
years.
Yeah,
I think it's a long-standing thing.
Yeah,
sure.
So the Erasmus program is a well respected.
Cool. I feel like over here no one knows about it. But in other countries it seems like quite an established thing, like, you know, people use it. It's a great way to see in the world, as well as learning new things, meeting new people. One of the best things is the cultural thing. So in the daytime you'll be doing workshops on whatever it's about.
Yeah.
But in the evenings, each country involved will do a cultural presentation at night.
Yeah.
About who they are as a country, as a culture, and it will involve food, it will involve drink, music.
Yeah.
You know, whatever they think defines them. So when the UK did it, we did a pub quiz because we figured what defines the UK.
What did people think?
Oh, they loved it. It was new to them. I didn't get it, but they loved it.
Shane, did you do like a gap year thing or something of that nature?
Well, no, I didn't do a gap year. I did a year abroad as part of my degree.
Okay.
And I lived in Toulouse.
Was that an art degree?
No.
Oh.
No, it was a degree in French and sociology.
Oh, okay.
And
it's made you who you are today. It's made you who you are today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when I was over in France, I actually got the whole studies thing wrong, and I signed up to this thing that I thought was a master's in European history,
right?
Etudes Européennes, and I thought this was really good. And the first 6 weeks was really brilliant,
right?
And then just 2 days after I was allowed to change course, we started on the Treaty of Rome. And I didn't realise, but I'd signed up to a degree in European law. A master's in European law.
My God, okay.
So I then had to spend the next year learning about the Treaty of Rome, the Maastricht Treaty, all of the ratifications.
Okay.
But
that's why you know
now
about the Erasmus project, right?
It's pretty interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I've got a master's in European law.
Amazing. So there's that to fall back on if the old paintings don't really pan.
No, I don't think it's that to fall back on. I've forgotten most of it.
Okay.
And it's all going to shit anyway.
Yeah. There is that.
So, yeah.
So you didn't do an art degree, interestingly.
No.
I think we should maybe just clarify, you're like classically educated how old were you when you sold your first painting?
At school.
Okay.
I loved painting, always loved painting.
Okay. But you never thought like, that was going to be your?
Well, I always loved painting. I really did. It's the thing that I do, and I do really love doing it. I really love sitting at the easel painting, even if it's difficult and I'm trying to do something hard. It's because it's just tricky enough not to be laborious. So you're kind of always figuring something out, and the job's just interesting. I think,
But that wasn't what you started out doing.
No,
How did you? Sorry, to clarify, like, how did you kind of like make the jump from kind of doing? Was it French?
Yeah.
Something
well, I never stopped painting.
Okay. When did that become your main thing?
Late 20s.
Yeah.
I tried to launch myself as an artist aged 24.
Okay.
I finished my degree. I moved to Berlin, and I thought, I'm going to be an artist. People wanted paintings of mine. I thought.
Yeah.
I used to make glasses. Out of wood and bone and leather and metal and all sorts, and resin and stuff.
Wow.
And I thought that would be my face furniture idea, where it would be like an art gallery on people's faces, and they would go everywhere, and all this stuff, but I went to Berlin and I ran out of money after a year. I sold a lot of stuff, but only enough to keep me eating for a year, not like now and keep bloody 6 people eating.
Yeah, I guess when you're young, that's all you need, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was cheap to live there.
Yeah,
it was 80 quid a month my rent at the time.
Nice.
I didn't have a shower, but I washed out of a bucket, and I didn't have I did have a toilet actually. Okay. It's but
only semi-bohemian then if you had a toilet.
Yeah, but so after a year, ran out of money. So I got a job. I got any job. I sanded down floors. Mm-hmm. I did decorating. I then ended up as a tour guide, teacher. So I taught English and was a tour guide around Berlin for a couple of years.
Quite exciting by the sounds of it. Quite varied.
It was very varied, and I loved it. I had a boat there. A friend of mine had a toy shop, conventional toys.
Right.
And we'd hang out on the boat at the weekends, and it was great. But then I had a child. Thought I've got to be serious now. Get these silly. Yeah. I was by that time 26.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm still young.
Yeah.
But I thought I've got to. So I thought I'd move out of this country, move back to England, try and get a proper job, and I did, and I worked in an office job, and I ended up as a lecturer even at university and stuff like that. But I always painted.
Right.
For some reason, it actually came back much stronger. And I hear people that talk about the desire to paint, about it coming back strong, but they never seem to back it up with actual paintings.
Doing it, yeah.
And whereas for me,
it's
it
the same with
actually
writers,
happened.
I think, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about being writers without actually writing.
Yeah, and it pisses you off when you've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The desire for this work that I'm about to do is so strong, and you're like, God, well,
there's
actually,
a lot of image imposter, isn't there?
Yeah,
sometimes there's not a lot behind it.
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But it obviously was that. I think I had failed enough. I'd failed in Berlin.
Okay.
I had a child with clearly the wrong woman.
Oh, okay.
I'd come back to England. They came back with me. That had failed.
Right.
So I had a failed relationship with a child that I'd born in Berlin. A failed notion of being an artist. So the next thing to do is obviously pursue your dream.
Obviously. Yeah.
Of being a professional artist.
Yeah.
I know, knob. But basically,
here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah,
and here we are, 15 years later. But
okay.
I still.
At what point did the Folkestone, the Creative Foundation?
It was about 2 years after that.
Okay, wow.
2 or 3 years after that.
Right.
That I was painting, And then I met this guy in Waitrose.
Right.
Not that I shop there
No.
very often.
What were you doing
But
there?
I was living in Scotland.
Living well,
at the
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Just when they're for his bits, you know.
Yeah.
Get his
I
essentials.
wish I could still shop there.
Yeah. No.
I met someone that had started off with the Creative Foundation right in the early days, and that's how it was Simon Moore, who you met.
Oh yeah, I did.
And it's him that I met in a supermarket, and I'd known him from years back.
Right.
And I said, I'm trying to be an artist, but I've got all these problems,
Okay.
namely a really difficult child situation. I'm trying to do what I want to do, but and he said, we're looking for artists in Folkestone, and it's literally, and I then went and I ended up in the Wedge. It was way before it was done up so badly. It was the first time there wasn't even any heating in there. I mean, it was freezing, and it wasn't done up at all. So that was the start.
So you were the first.
And that's how I ended up here.
You were the first. You were original.
I'm
artist.
the first artist that the Creative Foundation found. And I'm the longest standing now.
He's still here.
They found a lot of others.
Yeah,
Since.
Of course.
But I think I'm
you were the
first.
beacon. You lit the
I don't
way.
know.
The blueprint. You showed how it could be done.
Which is why people don't copy me. It's great.
Okay, don't do
great
what
being
Shane
a blueprint.
does, 'cause no.
Yeah, because that would be.
Yeah.
See him. Don't do that.
He's
do
fine.
something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great thing. I've never thought of it like that. Yeah, cheers. Cheers for that.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you're still here. It's very encouraging. Just very encouraging. Like from a person of any age, to see someone that's kind of like managing to straddle both worlds in a way of being creative but paying the bills and supporting a family. That's incredibly encouraging, because I think it's sort of drummed into a lot of us that you have to have an academic
and you
thing,
can't,
and you've got to have a day job, a desk job, or something fucking soul destroying. Otherwise, you're not going to survive. You won't make it.
Yeah,
your art isn't good enough.
I've got the same. I've got the
true.
same thing. Right, my daughter is 8. My oldest is 18, and she has done she studied maths, physics, German at A level.
Right.
And yet she's a really good singer and all this stuff. I don't know what your view is on parenthood, but anyway, my view is you basically, as they get older, you take a step back and you encourage them that it's the things that they want to do, they're important.
Yeah.
But I still think that for a long time she's saying, I feel like I should do maths and physics and stuff like that. And now it's
that's the worst.
Now it's all,
Yeah.
she's had her results.
Yeah.
She didn't do as well as she wanted in physics.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And she wants to do auditions.
Okay.
I say to her, I would be totally wrong if I ever gave you any other advice other than, if you want to go for it, go for it.
Yeah.
As long as you understand that it's your life. It's not me saying either way, but I would be terrible to say you should do something or other, because she probably wouldn't be happy, and who cares anyway?
Probably won't listen to you.
Who wants to prove anything to
Yeah.
anyone? I mean, and so yeah, I've left it like that. I've said that we should go out for a meal this week.
Yeah. So that's your parenting style. Just
that's it.
Yeah.
What you want.
Come on, go for it. Yeah, it's fine.
Is that bad?
Turned out all right for me.
I could
so.
be wrong. I am sure.
Who knows though, right? Who
Then
knows?
you don't know.
Follow your dreams, right?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Just go for it.
I've seen too many people say that they were going to follow their dreams, not follow their dreams, and then just be bloody miserable the rest of their lives. I hate that.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah.
Better to try and fail a few times, and then
Yeah,
try
definitely.
again or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think you've got to
try.
fail. You have to continually.
You only learn from failing a bunch of times.
You've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to incorporate that into your.
Isn't there that there's an exhibit somewhere, some museum, can't remember which city, but it's Edison. It's all the failed light bulb attempts.
Oh,
And there's
really?
Like hundreds of
Yeah.
them. Hundreds.
Yeah.
And they've got them all, and they've all exploded or cracked or whatever. They
For
didn't.
various
They
reasons.
didn't work. but he just kept going until he made one work.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah.
So that's self-belief, I suppose.
Yeah,
knowing
and
that
probably
you can
everyone was
do
telling
it.
him he was mental.
And that's
You know?
and that's what I want to sort of try and tell my daughter Olive, because people told me I was mental when I started here, right? The old high street, and
how was it back then?
The old high street
Scary?
was, well, when I first arrived here, most things were closed down the old high street, but also not only that, most things were boarded up, or they had bars. If there were windows, there were bars in front of the windows.
So that must have been not long after they shut the ferry port. Is that right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
And they
It was
bulldozed the
exactly. It was about
rotunda.
5 years after.
Okay, wow.
So it had
Hit the area hard.
It had given 5 years of the hope to be absolutely diminished to zero. And so there was nothing.
You thought, right,
the
this
reason
is it.
why
Base camp.
I thought,
Ground zero.
this is the
Here
place.
We go. Da, da, da.
I'm from here.
Yeah.
This makes perfect sense.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
logical. I've made it work
soil.
in Berlin.
Yeah.
And
Success
this is
Yeah.
going to be the next. This is going to be the next success. And
Did you know what the ambitions of the Creative Foundation were at the time, or the
not
hopes
really?
of the town,
Only
or-
other than I didn't really even know who Roger Dahan was.
Okay.
Honestly.
Brilliant.
But I just sort of thought, well, I'd gone for a job at Saga actually when I got back to
really?
England,
Okay.
so I kind of knew what
They turned you
Saga
down?
was. Well, no, I tried really hard to learn Spanish for 2 days for the interview. Yeah, because I said I was could speak
You
4
speak more.
languages.
What's in the case of said so?
And I just learned up my Spanish
Yeah.
GCSE vocabulary and the grammar structures. But I didn't do that well in the interview until they asked me about what my daughter would look like. And then I thought they might ask me that. So I had this whole thing ready to say she was morena, as in dark hair.
Okay.
And she was very nice and
Yeah.
all this anyway. But no. Anyway, I didn't know who the hell he was, and we're digressing.
That's fine.
But I arrived. I arrived and
You're a pioneer, man.
and there was nothing. There really was nothing.
Yeah.
My parents, friends, and girlfriend at the time thought I was absolutely mad. Because they said, well, what are they doing? What are these people doing?
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter to me because I didn't care, because I was just painting a lot because I really wanted to paint. And I was hanging the paintings in these empty shops, and people started to phone me up. And actually, I didn't really care because I'd set myself this goal that I'd paint 100 paintings to see if I was any good, and that goal happened about the time I arrived in Folkestone.
Right.
And basically, I was pissed off with something. I went outside, I painted a painting, I took it back. I thought, I can forget. It was better than all the paintings I'd done at that point. I thought, I wasn't sure, but it took a couple of days for it to sink in. So I thought, right, I'll forget about everything I've done to now, even all my Berlin stuff, all this. Seriously, this is honestly, this is where it happened.
Yeah.
And I said, I will paint 100 paintings from now, and at the end of that, I will know if I am good enough to pursue this, or if I forget about it, like all my friends had done and
Quite
forgotten all.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought 100 paintings
That's
would
giving
show
it a good
me.
whack, yeah.
And so basically, very disciplined at all spare moments, mornings, evenings, weekends. I was painting, and then so by the time I got to about 30, 40, my life started to change. I started to work a bit more part-time, and I guess it was probably because
Children?
I knew no kids.
Okay, wow.
Well, I had my daughter at that point, but But no, that was just a continual nightmare that I had to manage.
So
Not my daughter, but the situation.
Yeah, okay.
And I was earning money, but I was but doing that. And
you evolved as an artist at that point.
And basically, by the time after 2 years, I got to about 70 painting stuff. That was when I was showing them down the old high street.
Yeah.
And that was when they started to sell.
What?
And that was when
ish. That's a lot.
I was doing a painting a week at least.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's prolific.
I was doing a painting a week.
Did you ever get a week where you just thought?
I was so on it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because I so wanted to prove to myself. I thought this is the time where I will know.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
amazing.
were so many of them were so shit.
Of course, but that's the whole
And
point.
and some of them were
that's-
crap. And I'd show them to people, and they'd go, "They are crap."
Wouldn't buy
And
that.
sometimes I do these water ones
Right.
where they were just water.
Right.
And literally, I'd do water on a piece of paper and take photos of it before it dried and do portraits like that. I mean, it sounds a lot.
It was your water phase. That's all right, you know.
But
We've all been there.
But I did loads, and at least I stuck at it. And
Hell yeah.
and
Did you want to give up at any point?
No, I
Or
don't
you just think,
so.
no, this is it. I'm
I
doing
just
this no
thought,
matter
well,
what.
I'm going to get to the. Well, the thing is, I love painting, so I never.
Yeah.
It never.
when you
hurt.
love doing it,
And I don't really
the
care
success doesn't
what
matter,
other.
does it?
Because
Really.
if you do it, and now I probably care more, but back then I don't think I cared. I just thought, well, I just want to see where I can go with this. Now I care more because I like to think I've learned something. I probably shouldn't care, but you do care a bit.
I think as long as I think you care more, but as long as you still love it, it's still good. You know, you care more because you've got more experience and you've learned more, so you feel like you could get better and better, I guess.
Yeah.
But you still fundamentally love doing it, so whatever happens, you're winning.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly that.
Mate, can we talk about the book? Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're writing a book, right?
I'm writing a book, and
How's that going?
it's going well. I wrote a version of it.
Okay.
I say written. It's kind of written in loads of little notepads,
Yeah.
and I made a list of poems that would go in it.
Right.
And then I had a new idea the other day, which would change it all. which I'm
It's like a
experimenting
compilation,
with.
like a mixtape. You kind of.
So it was kind of like a collection before
Yeah.
of like various things loosely gripped together.
Right.
But then I was like, what if I do like a really focused one? So I'm experimenting with what that would look like, and then I'll actually put it together. I've got a publisher in Margate, Whiskey and Beards, Connor Sansby, who's a really good poet and freelancer and publisher.
Nice.
And bless him, he's going to put me out. He's going to publish me.
Fantastic.
The first one was self-published.
Yeah.
So it feels really nice for someone to go, yeah, I'll publish you.
Yeah,
You know,
amazing.
It's kind of like
They're going to put you out like they're going to print it.
Yeah.
Mate, that's amazing.
Like a vote of confidence. I suppose it's like getting someone buy a painting for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like someone, because I mean,
it validates
definitely.
the whole work, doesn't it? If someone goes, take my money, you're like, cool.
it's like
I think it does. It does. It says a lot about what you are capable of.
Yeah.
No matter what
The
anybody
message is
says.
gone out there and it's resonating.
I mean, it's one thing to love what you
do.
do, and that is quintessential. But when other people start
Absolutely.
to appreciate it, you're like,
Oh,
that vote of
shit.
confidence.
Yes.
Like, actually, there is something.
Yeah.
I've got something here. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there like a theme to the collection or?
So I'm thinking the new idea is along the lines of modern manliness.
Okay.
You know, like forget like we're drinking beer inside here, but forget that sort of stereotype, sort of
Right.
being really in touch and vulnerable, and because I mean,
A real man.
yeah, like real and white pink is like the sort of a joke, but it's sort of
Yeah.
true. Like being genuine. It's a journey I'm on, like at the moment, and enough of my poems reflect that sort of theme that there could be a collection, and then there'd be another one which is more. Someone once called some of it like meditations on ideas, which the other one would be more like meditations on ideas, or kind of like a collection of all the stuff that didn't fit in the first one. But so that's an idea, or maybe I'll stick with Plan A, which is have it all into one book, divided into different sections. And
that sounds good. At least there's some kind of structure that you can hopefully.
I've made it day, night, and dusk.
Yeah.
And day being things that are positive is the wrong word.
Yeah.
You know, they're not really like happy, but they things that are
day thoughts and then night thoughts.
Yeah, and night are darker, more deep.
Yeah.
And then dusk really is for anything which can't really fit anywhere or is so abstract or unusual. But
it's like that Smashing Pumpkins album. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. It was 2 albums, and one was like shit. I'm gonna crucify myself later on, but it was like one was like day, one was night. Whatever. Yeah. The second disc was like heavier. That, but poetry. It's cool.
That's what I'm going for.
It's exciting.
Yeah, so hopefully I'm really late on it. The idea was the end of the year, but if I'm being real, it's going to be January.
Man, these things take time.
But you know,
they take time.
It'll come soon.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm really excited.
Amazing. Do you thinking of Shane and his endeavours and just kind of like smashing stuff out? Do you feel like? I mean, it resonates with me certainly, even in terms of just designing stuff or trying to make T-shirts. I think some of the artistic trials and tribulations are kind of universal. Like, you know, some of the stuff that we do, we're trying to like communicate and produce a thing that hopefully communicates a message, but we're plagued by thoughts that are like, maybe it's rubbish and it's not working. And you know, how do you wrestle with that? How do you deal with that?
It is hard. Like
especially with a book. It's like a collection of stuff that's hopefully all good.
Yeah,
right?
that's the dream.
Hard is
that's
that?
the hope. Maybe it's a sense of doubt sometimes. Like with the book, I sort of set like the first one was self-published, and I did it, and I sort of set myself this goal, this challenge, and so
like 100 poems or whatever.
It was just
100 poems.
Did you ever work out?
I've been writing for about 3 years,
Okay.
and I thought I want to put it in a book. I want it for my own sake. I want to hold this thing and see it and. Totally. And that was just a bit like as a doubtful actually, like because once I'd done it all, I'd sent it off to the typesetter. I was like, "Is this actually any good?
Is it good? Yes.
Is someone going to want this?"
Yeah.
Like, but then there'd be a moment where I'd sort of talk to myself and be like, "Yes, this will be amazing. People will love this." And then I'd be like, "But will they?" And then you have it, and you're flicking through it.
That's the point.
That's what I find fascinating as well. I mean, I'm exactly the same. You know.
That's what it's.
You know when something's done, but you don't know if it's any good. You don't know.
You can tell yourself it's
creative
good,
yeah.
and it can be great for yourself.
Yeah,
but
you can come back to it a few days later and go,
if no one else
it's
wants
all right.
it,
But if no one else wants it, there's a part of you that's like,
a part of you that's dying because
no one else wanted it.
Thought that you were trying to do something for other people.
Yes,
unless you're just trying to do it for yourself.
Actually,
but most people aren't, and
Yeah.
most creative people
Please
aren't that
me.
selfish.
The first,
I hope
I'll
they're
be honest.
not.
The first one
I'm
was
sure they all
more.
are, really, aren't they?
Was more. The first one was.
I
more,
hope not.
More to like I say, make a book and have a physical entity.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
like I
that's
hope
awesome.
people liked it, but I was less bothered. And now I'm a publisher. Like this one's like
High
you know
pressure,
this
right?
has
High
got to
stakes.
be good because you know the first one's
Yeah.
on me, and if it works, it works. Doesn't you know whatever. I hope it works, but cool. But this one, like as a publisher, now I've got to do something which is good, which you know.
Well, mate, what's it called? What's the book called? Have you got a name for it?
So I'm thinking if it's the collection of everything, it'd be called Glimpse.
Nice, so succinct.
And because it is really, I mean, I say with a painting, I guess a poem is, for me at least, it's a glimpse, a transitory glimpse at a moment, which of a mental state, of a scene, of a place, of an idea, which hopefully conveys what it is, but is a small window in it rather than the. So glimpse feels right for that.
Nice.
And then if it goes to this sort of collection of sort of modern manliness, I was gonna joke around a bit and call it like Dave James Horn's guide to modern guide to manliness. But that's a little bit jokey.
I think that's quite
again long form.
I think it's a good idea because you know everyone's re-evaluating sexuality and all that stuff, and I was brought up having to be really hard. And I wasn't, or I got really annoyed with it. When I look back, why was I had to be so like It's not endurance.
No, it isn't, is it?
My dad used to do various stuff that I had to endure, and it was very hard. Yeah, like he'd sit me and go and grip me, put me in real pain, and I'd have to,
really?
and he'd show me that was how being a man was.
Yeah.
And all this stuff about being a man. And I just hate it.
Yeah.
And when I have my own, I love my kids and all that stuff. I'm nothing like that.
Yeah.
I've got 2 sons, and I don't try and make them be tough.
No.
I try and make them be people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So
to be purely tough.
The idea of that is so limiting. And so when you talk about like that, I find that quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's not
'Cause
essential
I
anymore.
hate
They're not
it.
going to march off to join the army
Part of
or something
my-
anymore,
yeah.
are they? That's just
And to be
necessary.
purely tough is just so it restricts you in life. You know,
Yeah.
your interactions, your
Yes,
choices,
massively.
what you do, what you don't do.
Yeah.
Even if deep down you want to do something, you don't do it because it's not manly. You know.
Yeah. But manly, like, what the fuck is
What
that?
does it mean?
You know?
Exactly.
You can spend an hour.
That's why it's quite interesting. So I'm very
No, that's a
interesting.
good point.
So next time you're performing, I'll come and have a listen.
Yes.
Yeah. I see.
Shut
That's the
stuff
thing.
down,
Those
pop
those
down.
ones
Right.
are really real. They're the ones that.
Yes.
So there's
That's enough.
Shane's had enough. I was going to say to wrap up, like, have you got any advice to like a young creative that's kind of trying to find their way? You know, hasn't been to Berlin, maybe.
Yeah, it's a young creative that hasn't been to Berlin and done any of the things that I've done, and I don't think I've done nearly enough interesting stuff in my life. So I think I'm as limited as anybody. So we're all limited, first of all.
Okay.
I just say, just if you're interested and you love what you do, believe in it and don't worry about anything else that anybody says, other than the fact that you can do it, and the only limits that you will have in pursuing what you want is the limits that you say that you have. You know, and that's really, really important. You have this opportunity there to actually create anything that you want, and
especially today with
and
technology.
today it's such a more level playing field with social media and the way that you can get your stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's about it's whether you're into what you do, and if you're not into what you do, but you're sort of into what others do, you've got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're really into what you do,
Yeah.
then
That's key.
then you do it, and you do
Yeah,
it repeatedly,
yeah.
and you find
doing
and it goes wrong, and
Yeah.
it goes right, and it goes wrong, it
Yeah.
goes right. But there's all these platforms and ways to exposure today that there weren't there at all.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
So
I
it's
don't think
an
I couldn't
interesting
have survived
time.
15
It's-
years ago without, you know,
Imagine.
with that Instagram and things like that, people kind of like encouraging me and going, oh yeah, I see what you're doing there, like keep doing it, that's awesome. And you know, which I need that actually some weeks.
Bit
you
of
know?
feedback, yeah.
Yes, and you did it like
I
kind
did
of
it
in the
from
dark
no-
ages
I
before
did
any
it
of that.
when it was before.
So hats
yeah.
off to you, because that's amazing. I don't think I could have
well,
done it.
I don't know.
without that.
Looking back, and probably should never have had a go.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
Well done, Shane. Honestly, it's a privilege to have you on and to talk to you. It's really inspiring.
Oh, thank
Hopefully, there's others out there that are kind of like,
Well, I hope so.
you know, hopefully going to all just boycott their academic degrees.
Exactly,
tomorrow.
like I'm encouraging my
Yeah.
daughters. to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Get the
Exactly.
degrees.
Yeah.
Fuck physics.
Dave, any advice or anything you'd like to say? Fuck physics. That's
Actually, I
it.
quite enjoy physics. No,
No, I didn't just say that out loud.
I'm joking,
I really
I'm
love
joking.
physics.
I
It's
I'd
one
say
of my favourite things.
I'd say just go for it. You know,
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
want to, if you've got an idea and you're interested in it, just do it. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You learn something. If it goes right, that's good. But
still learn something.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the doing of it is what matters, and
Yeah.
having fun and trying it. I think the best thing about creativity, and especially today with all the things we've got at our hands,
Yes.
is that you can try loads of stuff out and just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And the only thing that matters
It's
is
kind
you
of rude
need
not
enjoy
to,
it.
right?
You're right. It's
You
more
know?
flexibility.
Just do it, guys. That's the strapline for today. That's the take-home piece of knowledge. Thank you very much, guys. I think this is a good moment to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Shane Record and Dave James Horn. Thank you very much. This has been Close Quarters.